Hey guys, it's Loves to Loom here, and tonight I'm going to be showing you how to create this really awesome Techno tail bracelet. The bracelet was sent to me by Brett on Instagram. You can check him out at _looming_center. I think you should definitely check out his page. I love going on his page. I'm always finding something new and bracelets that I've never seen before, so please check him out for me. I also appreciate him sending me this design. This is actually technically a variation of my braided knots and bow knots bracelet. That is what inspired him to create the Techno tail, so I really like it and think it's cool. Another thing I want to show you, which I think is awesome, is the bracelet here in the background and the one on my right hand, which is actually still the Techno tail, except at the very end to create this kind of cool, like pop-up look. As you can see, they're all popping up. All we do at the very end is we take the horizontal bands and we just slide them over the knot. So we're basically moving it from this spot to this spot, and you just do that all the way around the bracelet. So you start at the beginning and go all the way around doing that, and it creates that really cool, like, pop-up look. So I totally think that looks awesome. I don't know. I like it. Hopefully you guys do too. If you stick around at the very end, I will show you how to make the Techno tail look like this. So just stick around for that. And for the Techno tail, it takes approximately 90 to 100 bands depending on your wrist size. And without wasting your time, let's get started. To make this bracelet, you need one loom, one C-clip, and your hook. Today I will be using my silicone bands, the purple, gold, glitter, and white. We will only be working with 7 pins, so it would be in the shape of a circle with the one in the middle, or octagon. So yeah, just make sure you have a space underneath, or you can pull it out of the back, which is actually what I usually do. So to get started, you are going to grab 2 of your color bands. I'm going to start with my purple, and we're just going to lay them vertically here. So make sure that you have 2 bands, and grab 2 more of that same color, and we're going to lay it on the next 2 pins here. Just like that, no twisting. Grab a single color of basically whatever is going to be the color that wraps around horizontally on your bracelet. I'm going to use white. And you're just going to lay it side by side like that. You always want to lay the left one first. As I already stated in the beginning, if you've seen my bow knots or braided knot series, the layout is exactly the same. So the first thing we're going to do is, starting on the left side, we're going to grab these 2 bands and we're going to stretch them up and over here to the top right pin. Excuse me, sorry. Stretch it up. You just basically go around that pin there. We're going to do the same on the bottom right, bringing it up to this top left one. So grab both of those 2 bottom bands, stretching it up to the left like so. Push your bands down a little bit. And now we're going to go inside these pins to bring the bottom layer back to this pin. So there's 4 bands on each of these top ones. Starting on the left, we're going to go inside these top 2 bands and grab a hold of the bottom 2. Remove it from the pin, bring it to the center, and reapply them. Push it down. Going into the right side, you're going to do the same thing. So push back the top 2 bands, grabbing the bottom 2, bring it off of the pin, and bring to the center. Just like that. So you should have 4 of your color bands and then your 2 white on the bottom. So we're going to grab the 2 white on the bottom and bring them up and over. Like so. Push that down. Now we're going to bring our 2 outside whites into the middle as well. Doesn't really matter which side you start on, but I do recommend doing it the same way every time. It just prevents your bracelet from twisting. So bring them into the center, and now we need to bring all 4 of these color bands up and over. So I like to just place my finger here so I don't lose any bands. Grab hold of all 4 and bring them up and over, like so. So far, the steps are exactly the same as the bow knots bracelet that I designed, except we would remove these 2 bands, and for this design, we are not going to do that. So we're going to start on the left, and we're going to bring this into the middle, and then bring the right into the middle. So it does get a little bit loose since we're removing these bands, so you might want to kind of hold on to it some way. Grab one to the left side, remove it from the pin, and place those 2 bands onto the middle, like that. We're going to do the same to the right side. Carefully remove it from the pin, bring it down, and reapply, like so. And now you have to bring the bottom 2 bands up and over, but I definitely recommend holding on right here so it doesn't pop off. Bringing the bottom 2 bands up and over, like so. So now we're just going to leave that there and push it down. Sorry, my loom is like all over the place. And now we're going to add on our next layer. Just make sure that it stays kind of centered. And it will as the bracelet grows, but just for the first time, just make sure it isn't on the sides or anything. So grab your next color, 2 bands. We're going to do the same process. So lay 2 bands vertically. Same color, laying 2 more bands on that pin. Going back to my white for my centers, we're going to lay 1 single band there and 1 more like so. So now we're going to do that crossing again. So we're going to grab the bottom 2 left bands, stretching it up to the top right pin, like so. And grab the bottom 2 right ones, stretching it up to the left. Now, before we do the looping up here, we do have to remove this bottom layer here. And I like to do it after I cross them just because it creates tension here. So grabbing the bottom 4 bands, bringing them up and over, like so. I like to push them down after each time just so we don't run out of room. We're going to go inside this top 2 bands on the left, grabbing the bottom 2 bands, remove it from the pin, and reapply those 2 bands onto the middle. Just like that, and we're going to do the same to the right side, pushing back the top 2 bands, grabbing the bottom 2, and bringing them into the middle. Bring up the bottom 2 bands, like so. And now we're going to bring in our centers, or our outsides into the center. I like to always start on my left. And now bring up the bottom 4 bands. Make sure you're holding on to your bands in the front though. You don't want the bands to pop off. Once you've done that, we're now going to bring our top bands in. So grabbing these 2 on the left and reattaching them onto the middle. And doing the same on the right side. Like so. Hold on to that bracelet up here with your finger, grabbing the bottom 2 bands and bringing it up. Like so. You can just kind of adjust your bracelet, make sure it's still straight and facing the correct direction. Push that all down, and we're going to do that all over again. So I'm going back to my purple, 2 bands, lay them vertically, grab 2 more bands, and lay them on this pin vertically as well. Now grabbing my whites, laying 1 there, and 1 there. Just like we did the first 2 times, we're going to grab the bottom 2 bands, stretching it up to the right. And grabbing the bottom right bands, bringing them up to the left. Once you've done that, we need to bring the bottom bands up and over on the center. Push them down, going inside these top 2 bands on the top left, grabbing those 2 bottom bands, stretching them down into the middle. Do the same on the right side, pushing back the top 2 bands, grabbing the bottom 2 bands, and bringing to the center. Bringing up the bottom 2 bands on the center, like so. And now we're going to bring our whites into the middle again. Now we're going to bring the bottom 4 bands up and over. Now basically, there should always be, I know it's a lot of looping, but there should always be like one set of colors on this pin at a time. So basically, after you bring each, whatever you do on the left side, you do on the right side. So once you bring each set over, you should know that you'll always have to loop bottom bands, you know, up and over. Hopefully that made sense. So for example, we just brought those 2 down, and now we have to loop. So yeah. So we're just going to continue doing that. And like I said, just make sure your bracelet is not all crazy. Once it starts growing like it is right now, it actually kind of stays. But so I'm just going to continue on so you guys can follow along. Hopefully it's not too confusing. You may have to move the bracelet out of the way a little bit when you go inside these top 2 bands to grab the bottom. Sometimes the bracelet's kind of in the way a little bit. It's so quiet. And I know my hand gets all up in the camera when I lay my bands, and I do apologize about that. Bringing up to the right, and bringing these up to the left. Looping up the middle bands. Going inside, grabbing the bottom 2. Doing the same on the right side. Bringing up the bottom 2 again. Bring in the middle. Bring up the bottom 4. And bring the tops in. bring up the bottom 2 again. I'm going to do this one more time. Crossing up to the right, grabbing these 2, crossing up to the left. Now you have to loop up the bottom 4 on the middle. Going inside your 2 top bands, grabbing the bottom 2, reattach it to the middle. Do the same on the right side. Bring up your bottom 2 bands. Now we're going to bring in our outside bands on the right and left side. Bring up the bottom 4 bands again. And now we're bringing the top 2 down. And bring up the bottom 2. So that is all we do to make this bracelet. It's super duper easy. Well, it's not super duper easy, I guess, but once you do it a lot, it gets a lot easier. You can see it's starting to grow out here. And I'm going to go off camera, finish up my bracelet, and I'll come back and show you how to close it up. And then I will also show you how to transform it into the popping up looking bracelet. So I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I did finish up the length of my bracelet. So basically it should look like this. Basically it should just look like you're about to start laying your next bands, except we're not going to. So you should have 4 color bands left on your middle pin here. You can actually do this one of 2 ways. There's nothing else to do for the closure except add a C-clip onto these 4 bands. Or you can slide, if you don't want to have all 4 bands on one pin, you can just slide whatever color is on your middle one. Just slide your hook down through the pin, slide this up through it, pull it up, and then you can just add your C-clip onto that one, which would make it 2 bands. But I'm just going to attach it to the 4. If you have a monster tail C-clip, that would probably work better because it would fit more bands. So, but I've used 4 on 1 C-clip before, so it will be fine. Just make sure you get around all of them and then pop it off of your loom. And just kind of center your C-clip like so. And if it does kind of like curl a little bit like that. So when you do go to attach the other side of it, just make sure that it is all straight so that it doesn't end up twisting or like, you know, backwards or what have you. So then come down on this side, stick your hook in the very beginning into those 2 bands, color bands, and that's where you will attach your C-clip. So just make sure it's not all twisted and apply it like so. If you find that some of your like little knot things are facing another direction, like for example if you were going to put it on and one was like on the side, if you just kind of go like this, it will fix that, I've noticed. So, but this design here, without messing with it at all, was created by _looming_center on Instagram. His name is Brett. Make sure you check him out and give him a follow for me. I personally think his page is super awesome. I love it. I'm always finding new designs on his page that I didn't even know about. So thank you so much, Brett, for this awesome design. Like I said in the beginning, guys, this was originally inspired off of the faux knots and braided knots bracelets that I came up with, but Brett came up with this super amazing variation of it, so I just want to definitely give him design credits because I think it's super cool. But I did also want to show you quickly before you go how you can change this into a whole nother bracelet once it's completed. So obviously this is how it looks when it's completed, which I love. But if you want that pop-up look, you're going to go to the beginning of your bracelet, which would be on which side? This side here. And you can tell that by, you can see that's where we ended. So come to the other side with your bracelet facing like this. Basically the little knots you want facing down. And then you're going to grab your hook, or you can even use your fingers. And basically all you need to do to create this look is we're going to grab, let me start at the beginning. All the horizontal white bands going horizontal, we're basically just going to pull them over the knot. So I'm going to start at the very beginning, and you're just going to pull these horizontal bands over this knot here. When we do that, it makes the other side pop up. So you just grab the two bands, pull it forward, like that, and it pops over, and then it makes that like pop up. You can do it from this side or from this side. I like to do it this side because you can see the horizontal bands better. And actually, you may want to do it with your knots at the top because you can pull up instead of down, and it does make it easier. So I'm just going to use my fingers, and you just shimmy it over the knot like that. So basically you're just going to keep moving it up one spot. So just pop it over the knot, grab the two whites, pop it over the knot, and you do that all the way around your bracelet. So I just think that it's super cool. I don't know. I was just like playing around with it, and I don't even know what made me do that. But I was just like messing with it. And I discovered that they popped up like that. And I thought it was cool. Hopefully you guys like it as well. And I asked Brett if he minded if I showed you, and he did not mind. So, but that's what you do. And then it creates that like pop-up effect. But I'm going to go ahead and finish doing it so you can see the finished look. And hopefully you guys stick around to see it. So you just keep moving them forward. If you get confused, you can look on the back and you see, well, that's going to be confusing to explain, but basically you can see where the white wraps around. This gold is what we want to pop up. So you know that these are the bands that need to be pulled down to create that, to pop up like that. This is my last one, I think. And it is easy to place back the original way, too. You basically just pull it in the opposite direction over those knots. So once you're done that, you may need to stretch it out like so. Make sure I got them all. And then it creates that little pop-up effect. So I like it. I think it's cool and unique. So hopefully you guys like it too. I feel like I'm just totally rambling on and on tonight. You can even grab them from this side and just pull up a little if you want them to pop up a little more. But yeah, so there you go. If you guys like this bracelet, please give it a big thumbs up, or if this video helped you out at all. You can also tag me at Loves to Loom on Instagram. I'd love to see your creations. Don't forget to check out and follow the_looming_center on Instagram for coming up with this super cool Techno tail bracelet. And I will see you all at my next video. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye!